If you would have told me a couple years ago that I'd be playing tight end at a different SEC school right now, I wouldn't have believed you. The story at A&M was, I came out of high school a pretty highly rated quarterback, and that was a blessing just to be able to go through that experience. But, I got to A&M, started having some shoulder problems, and I could never throw the same as I could when I was a recruit. I was having wear and tear in my shoulder, and then so that spring was pretty rough. The first spring at A&M was pretty rough for me. So I actually decided to make the transition to kind of like do some slot hybrid receiver stuff that season. My freshman season, I still was kind of doing some quarterback stuff too. During fall camp, I tore my labrum in my throwing shoulder. So I got surgery on it, tried to go back to quarterback. That missed that whole season, pretty much medically redshirted my second season. And then, after those first 2 years, it was rough. Like I was just like, I need to try and start somewhere else. And so I was blessed enough to my dad played at New Mexico State, played safety there. And so I had, kind of had a connection there, and that's how I got there. And I was still playing quarterback there. And, it was towards like fall camp when I came to the conclusion. I was just like, I think God's showing me like I could just never get back to it. And I think God's showing me like, you need to go another way. So I went to Coach Beck, and it was like right before the season started. It was like, hey, I'm open to, just help the team, and you can use me anywhere. So that's how I started getting into that.
You got the chance to probably fulfill a dream to some degree, where you kind of wake up in a household and you see jerseys and you see photos. It had to be something really special the first time that you put that jersey on. Yeah,
it was a cool opportunity for sure. Like, because my dad is he's one of the biggest role models in my life. And so, and it kind of worked out in a way to where, God, he offered me that opportunity, but it was also like the best place for me to be in regardless. Like, because Coach Kill and Coach Beck, like, and I'll stand by this, like they're some of the realest and like, trustworthy coaches in the college football game. Like there's a lot of coaches out there, you'll hear stuff and they don't mean it at all. And from day one, as soon as I got a call from Coach Kill, he was, I could tell he was about everything he was saying. And, I went in and I wasn't necessarily performing at quarterback like I used to be able to. And so, but they still, like, you could tell that they loved me as a kid and as a player, and they were going to try to help me out. And so that's why it worked out in a way to where, yes, it was like I was fulfilling a legacy from my dad, but also like, I got put in a situation where the coaches and that whole situation, the team, the family we had there was amazing. So
you were a quarterback starting the season, so you weren't even going through the fall, let alone the spring, preparing to play at tight end. Was it obvious to you why you were put in that position once it happened? Because now you're positioned for really big things.
Yeah. Like I said, like it's crazy how God works in people's lives. And, because if you would have told me, like, because I've been playing football since first grade, tackle football. My dad was coaching me. I've been playing quarterback since the first grade. Like, that's all I knew was quarterback. And if you would have told me, like, even a couple years ago that I'd be playing like tight end at a different SEC school right now, I wouldn't have believed you. There's no shot. Like, I'm a quarterback through and through. But ultimately, like, when I finally got to the point where I'd humbled myself and I was like, just listen to what God's trying to show you, like, I can't be more thankful and grateful for just the situation I'm in. So
what's the number one thing you feel like being a quarterback first has helped you be a better tight end / receiver?
Yeah, I think that helped me tremendously. I mean, there's a few things, but one of the biggest ones is like just being able to read defenses, because you at quarterback, that's all you do. I mean, you have to be able to read a defense, or you're not going to be successful. And so it kind of and it helps like having chemistry with the quarterback, being a former quarterback, because we both kind of see the same thing. So when I'm running the route, like if I see something and there's a hole I got to idle down in, or if I recognize a coverage or something like that, whether we have an option route or something, it's easier for me to to see what's going on at tight end, to where, you know, if I had been playing that position my whole life, maybe I could have. But, you know, when you're reading defenses at quarterback, you see things at a lot faster.
When you got on campus in New Mexico State, you're competing with Diego. Things that maybe you looked at in the game, you're like, man, how is he pulling this stuff off? Like, how is he making these type of passes? And then when you're actually on the field as a tight end, it was able to help you understand, like, man, if I just get open, the ball's going to get chucked up and I'll probably be able to come down with it.
Yeah. That's one of the first things I realized when I got to New Mexico State. Like, because keep in mind, like I said, like I was like, I'm still quarterback through and through. You know, in my head, I was kind of, you know, thinking like kind of nervous because I knew like my shoulder wasn't right, but I was still thinking I was quarterback. And I got there and I meet him, and like just this, you know, it's however tall, you know, Hispanic kid at an Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm like, I'm gonna beat this kid out 100%. And so, but then I meet him, and it's like, bro, this kid's like, he's wired a little differently, you know. Like I haven't been around many kids to where it's like, I mean, like just little things. I don't even know if you did this on purpose, but just little things like when we would break, we would warm up, and then he'd bring the whole team up. We'd break, and you'd have to run to your first whatever you were doing. I'd be running at a pace trying to be the first one there. I'd be in the front. All of a sudden, I see Diego full sprinting to beat me there, just to beat me to the freaking drill. I'm like, all right, bro, like, you know. And it got to the point where I was like, yeah, this is gonna be tough for me to do it. And but yeah, like you said, like I started seeing him like, you know, make plays, and truly like that's just what he is. He's a playmaker, you know. Like he finds a way to get positive yards and make you know, positive plays out of bad ones when people mess up. And so, like you said, like I just realized, like I just got to do my job, and you know, he'll find a way to get it there. But
if you get open in general, because it's like, most of the stuff that you do, I feel like can't be that scripted. I mean, yeah, you watch the tape and you're like, I mean, you draw the plays up to the best of your ability, but you just have fun out there. It looks like.
Yeah, it's. I think I think a little bit different. You know what I mean? When I was really, really young, I used to play running back, and like I was taught like by my brother, you know, like these guys in front, the D line now, but he was like, these guys are too slow to catch you. The guys in the second are too slow to catch you. And when I was playing when I was really little, I popped a hernia, and so like that slowed me down. And I swear, if I never popped a hernia, I'd be faster than you. I swear, bro. I swear. I was so fast as a little kid. That, bro. And but like, yeah, that happened. So like, if a D lineman ever sacks me, it's my fault, no matter what. And so that's how I look at it. And then just escaping the pocket, I feel like that's when I'm best.
I'm sure you guys would love to see yourself in a bowl game, and even greater results than that. Mm-hmm. Outside of your locker room, there probably aren't a lot of people on Vanderbilt's campus yet that even believe that that's possible. I texted my buddy who is a Vanderbilt alum about to do this interview, and first thing he said is like, ask Diego if he's got a life insurance policy this year. That was his text to me. He'll be grateful to know. Right in the deadline. I got that in the interview here. But
that's funny, bro.
It was pretty funny. I laughed. And that's exactly why I'm excited to talk to you guys, because there's nothing I like more in college sports than a team that no one believes can do anything, that goes out there and shocks the world. It's what makes sports an incredible thing. So I'll let you close it kind of on either, and we can take it a few angles on just where has there been a moment in the past where you've gotten to experience that feeling of knowing that there's something greater than you that's working through you, that's going to allow you to do something that is beyond belief. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'll ask that question.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm big in my faith. I'm a strong Christian, and I was raised that way, but I've kind of, figured out my own path with Christianity too. And I think that's what kind of grounds me and like gets me to the point where I can have a faith and a belief in certain things that kind of seem impossible, or kind of seem impossible, like, because the Bible says like that with God all things are possible, and like, and when I'm going through things like you have to remember that, the Bible says that it's not I that lives, but Christ that lives within me. And so that, that's kind of the thing that allows me to like, and also another verse, Romans 8:28 says that for all things work together for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. And so it's like, it kind of keeps me to a point where I know that I don't have to like, worry or stress about things, because I know that regardless of what happens this year, I know that God's gonna, guide us in the way that it needs to be guided, that we need to be guided. And so, I think that's where like the foundation of all this faith and the belief, just for me personally, I understand that everybody doesn't believe that, but, just that's where that foundation is, to where I can know that like, hey, like anything is possible, like I truly believe that. And, especially with the things that God has blessed us with at this program right now, the players, the camaraderie that we already have. I mean, I just got here like 2 months ago, and I'm already close with a lot of the kids, and that wasn't even the way in New Mexico State. It took me a while to get there. And so, I just think that, anything is possible this year for sure.